Mardi Gras.
Saturday. So Saturday we woke up and we went to Iris. And then we went to Tux. And then we skipped Endymion because with how fast it was going and how we needed to get food in us.
Yeah. Well, Tux is a really long parade.
Yeah.
And so is Iris. Iris is, I don't think people realize how big Iris is. That is a long parade and a huge number of members. So
yeah, I think they were the number 2.
Long. Yeah.
I think they're number 2 in size.
Yeah, that's just shocking because nobody really, if you ask 20 people that are parade goers, I don't think anybody would put them in the top 5. But yeah, they're as far as membership, because some of them just seem really big, like Nick's, of course, and
yeah,
King Arthur is like the number of people in them is huge, and Damien, of course. But
yeah, Bacchus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a tremendous parade, and a beautiful parade.
Yeah, I didn't get it, but I do have a signature throw from Iris.
Ooh.
Little, I guess, I don't know, some kind of little wine flute thing with all kinds of glittery balls and such. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty.
And I did send the message to the creator because I liked it as much as she did.
Well, the other thing that they're big for, that Iris is big for, is the sunglasses.
Yeah.
To where they, decorate up their sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And they had hundreds and hundreds of sunglasses out there.
Yeah, I caught a few regular ones. I didn't catch a decorated one, though.
Yeah, I think I have one decorated one.
Cool.
Yeah, but I had a great time at Iris, and then Tux afterwards. I mean, geez, I mean, especially after the interview with Lloyd and Robert.
Yeah.
I caught a little thing of poopery, where it's
I'm sitting on my toilet right now.
Yeah, it's a little spray bottle thing to where you spray it. I think you're supposed to spray it into the water before you take a dump. And that it's supposed to make it to where...
Try to sugarcoat it there, you're like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to spray it into the water before you take a dump. And then in turn, it smells less offending in the bathroom while you're taking a dump.
Pretty good one.
Let's see, the plungers and the toilet brushes.
Big tall one. I don't know what I did with that thing. Might be in the trunk of the car somewhere.
It might be. There's also there was a couple of groups within Tux to where the tuxedos had little champagne corks that they were decorating. The booze cruise was throwing. I know that they had made that all of them had made like decorated hats, like captain's hats. And I think that they were throwing decorated captain's hats. Someone made a decorated toilet seat. Someone made like a throw ring. Like a life-saving throw ring.
Oh, okay.
That they decorated up to say, like booze coos and put glitter and everything else on it. Yeah, I saw a couple of the things that they were posting out there. It really seemed like almost every quote-unquote signature throw or signature float of Tux had its own like special little signature things.
Yeah. Well, they've always been big on really not beads. It's just everything else. And
Yeah.
we're talking about like, oh, he used to find this in the the little grab machine. Like, ooh, I like this, and that's how the toilet came about.
Yeah, the
like,
squirting toilet and the cape, the hat, like the like a beanie hat or like a do rag.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that was. I gotta say, that was the most disappointing thing personally of this Mardi Gras season is the fact that when he picked up the toilet, he didn't open it up. He immediately knew it was full. I was like, I've been wanting to get one of them suckers back for years, because I know my ass fallen for it a few times.
But he said, as he said, I know my product well.
He knew the weight was wrong.
Yeah. One thing really cool with Tux that I wanted to bring up that I've been seeing, especially during these times where you see a lot of musicians that are doing like there's a group on Facebook called Social Distancing Fest.
Yeah.
To where it's like a whole bunch of different musicians that are that usually play at local bars or restaurants or whatever, and because all these different establishments are closed, they're doing like a virtual concert to where if people enjoy what they're listening to, they can tip the artist at like their Venmo or PayPal, whatever.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them now, even selling like, I don't know, dollar tickets or whatever, to just try to get people in, and just to really listen to them, really more than anything. They're trying to entertain.
Yeah.
But they still need to make a living. So they're selling like, I don't know, dollar tickets or whatever it is, just to try to get the number up,
But one of the ones that I've noticed is I think it's on Fridays that they do it. They've been getting the Soul Acoustic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the band that usually plays on the Funky Tux.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm sorry, the Funky Uncle's Lounge. Which when we talked to Robert and them, they had told us, that one of the concept ideas of the Funky Uncle's Lounge is that they wanted it to be like a rolling concert venue almost.
Right.
To where they could put it out at, like I'd almost make a pop-up festival per se. Or like some of these festivals that are, like French Quarter Fest, to where, there's not really a whole lot of money that goes into making French Quarter Fest happen. They might be able to offer, hey, use the Funky Uncle's Lounge stage so that, 10 more bands can get some exposure at the festival. That's just an example of one, obviously. But yeah, that's cool with that they've been using that as an opportunity to give, the Soul Acoustic, I know, has gotten a couple opportunities to play on it. And I think that there's from talking with Fish, it sounds like they're trying to get it to where they're going to have a little rotation to where, maybe 2 weeks down the line, it would be Trombone Shorty playing on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
2 weeks down the line, another week down the line, it might be, Papa Grows Funk. That they're going to try and get it to where it's a rotation of different groups playing on it to get them, some playtime and, not that any of those bands really need exposure per se.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's others within that crowd that could definitely use it.
Right, absolutely.
And the larger name bands are going to keep people coming back to watch it. So that's awesome. I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, they've done a couple concerts from it. So I'm interested to see what happens further using it. So after Tux, we missed Endymion, as we had mentioned, just because by the time that Tux was done and we had gotten back to the car, we were like, man, I need to get something to eat. And within like the 20 minutes of getting something to eat, we checked the parade tracker, and it felt like Endymion was halfway down the route already.
Yeah.
I remember that Endymion was moving really fast that day.
That was unfortunately where the second death had occurred. So I don't know if the beginning of the beginning few floats that had made it past that point had just sped up and were getting to the end, because obviously they canceled the rest of the parade. So,
well, no, I mean, because when where the accident happened was like, where we checked about 30 minutes in or 40 minutes in, whatever it was. Like, that's where the front of the parade was already. And it was like, gum. I don't know if they had started early or if they were trying to run them a little bit quick to get, because one of the things with Endymion this year was they had to slightly alter their route.
Oh, that's right, going around the Hard Rock, huh?
Yeah. So they had to reroute a little bit so that they wouldn't be stuck in, or so that they wouldn't roll, I guess, in super close proximity to it.
Right.
To keep the crowds clear from it and et cetera. But yeah, that parade was rolling a little bit. It seemed like it was rolling pretty fast to where we knew, like, by the time that we finished eating, at McDonald's or whatever that we were eating that day, that, by the time that we would have gotten out there, we would have had to go to the very end of the parade, which I don't think would have been possible for us.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. Like, running out there at the last second to get the end of Endymion is an impossible task. I mean, it's such a large crowd for that parade to sneak in, and it just can't be done.
Right. So while we surpassed Endymion, which, again, it's in the top, 4 of most beautiful parades.
Oh, yeah.
I'd, say that's a close tie between, like, them, Bacchus, Orpheus, Proteus, Hermes, Pygmalion. Like, that's the top 6 ones that I would say in beauty. And that's not to mean any disrespect to any of the other parades.
Yeah.
But, those 6 are, the ones where you really see the true beauty, and Rex. So 7.
Yeah. Well, it was just lavish. There's a different style to them. Like, those are intended to be pretty, while others are meant to be fun or whatever. Like, some of them are meant to be pretty, and like some of them really do a good job of it, and grand, I should say,
Yeah. So we skipped Endymion, but we went out to Kenner to see ISIS's first role in Kenner.
Bruh.
What did you think of the parade route?
Well, the route's fine. It had a very unusual feel to me. I don't know what it was. It was kind of like we're all waiting there, or like nobody knew what to expect. And we've all seen this parade.
100 times.
So, like, it was just, for some reason, it was odd. There was an odd feeling about it, but I like that they brought it back there. I personally would have preferred that they stayed in Metairie, but my understanding is that there's going to be more than one kind of parade. So, hey, it might be good for the area. So,
yeah, as we were talking about in the very beginning, that we're going to see more and more parades branching out and saying, "Hey, we don't need to roll on the, the standard, 2 routes that are made available. Let's break them up a little bit and give some of these neighborhoods a parade again."
I think Jefferson's always been accepting of that more so than the city, because the city has to deal with much
Police
huge,
coverage,
much big crowds, and just the police coverage is very tough to do when it's all spread out.
Yeah. I thought that ISIS was pretty. I mean, they share floats with Carrollton. So we had seen their floats before, but I mean, that didn't really take anything away from the parade, in my opinion.
They can kind of make a theme based on what they have,
Right.
I don't know what their theme was. I think it was something to do with the move in some regard. I don't remember what it was, though.
Yeah. I know they had a signature throw of decorated bra, which I didn't catch. I didn't catch one of the decorated ISIS kind of bras.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I immediately caught why they were doing bras.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Like, why are they decorating? Oh, wait, okay, never mind.
Well, they'll tell you that it was for, I think awareness for breast cancer, which is an awesome, awesome gesture.
That's an official story.
But yeah,
we'll go with it.
Yeah, I thought that they did a good job. I liked it rolling in Kenner. It gave it a different feel.
The crowds were real good.
Yeah, the crowds were good. Where we were standing, it seemed like they were throwing a little bit light. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it may have just been that.
Well, we were right before turn, and that's not surprising, really. Right where we were.
Yeah,
we were right before the Loyola turn. What, I don't know, 100 feet off or something like that.
Yeah, I have my stepmom lives right on the route of ISIS along Chateau, and when I talked to her, I told her, yeah, we really didn't catch a lot where we were, and she's like, oh, you should have came over by me. They were throwing all kinds of awesome stuff by me.
Well, doesn't it circle back? Is she like at the beginning or like near the end of the route?
No, she's in the later part of the route, obviously. Okay. But yeah, she said that where she was, they were throwing all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, it caught a little stuff. I mean, I don't honestly want anything except the balloons and like pendants and like personalized stuff.
Yeah.
I caught some beads. I basically gave them some kid next to me, but yeah, I didn't catch a whole lot there.
Right. Yeah, but again, while we're not looking to run home with a big bag of things, you see the smiles on the kids' faces when they catch a couple throws. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So where it felt a little odd that, at no time did I have a bead that I caught that I could be like, here you go, little kid, enjoy this bead, here you go, here's a cup, enjoy this cup. Here's a stuffed animal, whatever, And, but I think that you're absolutely right. We were, 10 feet away from where it started to turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can imagine that might have
kind of stop and look. I don't know what it is. I do the same thing. But everybody kind of stops and looks, and you make the turn, then you get going again.
Yeah. Let's see. So then the next day was another early day. Even earlier for you than it was for me.
It was still pretty pitch black when I got to where I was going that morning.
Yeah. We're talking about Kirk and I's tradition on that Sunday is Bacchus. Mm-hmm. And we went to Bacchus, or to all of the Uptown parades at our traditional spot, Temple Day. And you're one of the first ones to get out there to,
I'm first and last every year, but
to help set up the table and the sound equipment and all that kind of stuff. But it's always enjoyable to walk up to the parade and hear, like comforting music playing, like basically as you walk up, someone's handing you a cocktail or a cold beer. I mean, it is a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I've always wondered what that's like. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, for you, it's like, oh, you want a cold beer? Go get a cold beer.
I've been doing the same routine forever. Well, Brent and I would say, have been doing it forever. I can't even imagine how many years I've been doing it. It's got to be pushing 25 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I started going to Temple in 2001, 2000, somewhere around there.
Really? I thought you had gone way earlier than that.
No, I think it's right around there. Because it was pretty much like once I got into college kind of thing, like, well, I guess in 2001, hell, I was almost getting out of college, but it was around those times when I really got to know Darren and his family real well.
Yeah.
Where
shoot, I think my first year there, I think I was maybe 7th or 8th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
We were young. Like, it's odd to me now that my son is now older than when I started going.
Yeah. So there was 5 parades that day.
Yeah.
Uptown, because there was Okeanos, Mid City, Toth, then Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Rolled without any bands or anything. And then to close out that evening, there was Bacchus.
Yeah.
Thoughts? What'd you think of those? Of the Temple Day parades?
I mean, that's one of the few days that I'm not as interested in the parade as I am the crowd. Especially because a lot of our friends, we had a real good turnout this year. But the parades kind of always take second fiddle to me that day. As much as I love Bacchus and Toth and Mid City's cool, and they're all cool. But parades that day are always second fiddle to our friends that show up that day. And
you get an opportunity to see.
Yeah,
for us, it's almost like a family reunion to where there's people that you see once a year.
Yeah,
and it's Temple Day.
Plus,
you might see them twice a year. You'll see them like at Temple Day and maybe around Good Friday.
Yeah. Plus, at this point, we had been to what? I don't know, 35 parades by the time that day gets started. So
yeah,
I kind of spend my time more talking to people and whatnot. But I enjoyed the parade. Like I'd go up to the front and pound for the balloons for a little while, and jump back.
And that's how I was.
Whatever, So
yeah, I'd get up and go in the front for a little while. Catch half of the parade and catch a bunch of the doubloons, and then someone else would be like, "Hey, you want me to hold the doubloon sign for a little bit?" And I'd be like, "Okay." Go chill in the back for a couple floats. Let someone else enjoy the front.
I saw most of Toth and Bacchus, but I didn't see very much in Mid City at all. Like, especially from the front, I might have saw 1 or 2 floats from the front. That's just kind of hanging in the back, but still a blast.
Yeah,
That's a different parade day to me. It always has been like that.
Yeah, I'd say that all the parades were, pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first day that we saw the tandem rule.
Yeah.
So, I remember that Toth seemed extra long.
Yeah.
And that was one complaint that I had with Bacchus is, and it wasn't Bacchus's fault, because of the tandem rule, a lot of their floats looked somewhat odd.
I'd
whether
go as far as saying ridiculous.
Yeah, like you'd mentioned earlier, seeing the Bacca Gator, roll as like 5 separate pieces, to where it was the head with like 3 dudes.
Well, the
and then
thing with it is that they were all toting a tandem generator. So it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, how is this different? So that was kind of the most ridiculous point to me, is like, because they still had a generator to light it up and all.
Right.
So they had a generator that was tandem to each segment instead of, 3 segments in one generator in the back.
Right.
It's odd. But I could understand it for Bacchus, because they get as crowded as anybody. That is a thick crowd day. So
yeah, especially during Bacchus.
Yeah.
That on that day you see 2 crowds.
Yeah.
You see like the morning crew, and then once Toth finishes, you see a good turnover in the crowd, to where you'll see a bunch of people who leave,
flips over,
and then like an hour before Bacchus, you see a new group of people who come out to the parade. And I'd even go so far as to say that second half of the day, those new people who come in suck.
Yeah. They suck every year.
Well, one of the big issues that I have with them is that they come in and, you've been standing right there at the front of the parade, and then they proceed to show up and try and, tell everybody, oh, you can't stand in the front anymore. And everyone who's been there and joined the parades all day gets forced to the back by these people who show up at the very end of the day, basically. And it's like, hey, man, not to be like, homesteaders or whatever, but
yeah,
we've been standing out here in this spot all day, and now all of a sudden you're going to come in and push us out of the way and say you can't stand here anymore. It seems a little bit, due to lack of better words, unfair or disrespectful.
I just find it funny that most of the time, if you do kind of grumble about it, they're like, "Oh no, man, we've been here all day." I'm like, "Bro, no, you haven't." No.
Yeah, I can guarantee you haven't been here all day. I'm the first guy who got here.
The funny thing about Temple Day to me is, over the years, like, I've met people there from the neighborhood, and they've just, at this point, joined us. Like, I know a good 20 people that come and say hi to me every single year. Like, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Like, and my recollection of Temple Day isn't the usual day, I should say. Like, I don't remember all of Temple Day generally.
Well, yeah, I couldn't imagine why that would happen.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's being on the sun for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. But be that as it may, I don't always remember these people. Now I'll look at them and go like, wait a minute, I know this person. And then sooner or later they're like, yeah, you know me from here, you idiot. I see you every year, like this is probably a good 20, 25, I would say, at least, little neighborhood people that I've just come to know.
Yeah. So I will say that, not just like the Bacca Gator and Bacca Wappa floats seemed a little bit off, being disjointed.
Yeah.
But there was a couple, with a lot of Bacchus's floats, they're built to be tandem, to where, on the front of the first float, there's, a figure, like this year, the theme was Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
To where, like, the front would be, say, John Wayne. And then, the side of the float had some decoration. And then there was another tractor pulling the second one. And usually with a lot of Bacchus floats, that second, that the back of the first float and the front of the second float are pretty bare.
Yeah, they're not separate,
Right.
But
so then all of a sudden you see this second float coming, or to where it may not have any, like a float figure like that, on the front or the back, and then you might have a third one.
Bacchus, though, is a lot of the tail section is well decorated at the rear.
Yes,
it's like,
but
yeah,
you might
the triple, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might have situations where, like, you'd see the front one, and the front one, the front piece would be decorated, the back would look pretty bare. Then the second one would come, and like the sides would be very beautifully decorated, but like the front and the back of it would be bare. And then the third one would come, and the front would be decorated, or the back would be decorated super well with like a giant figure or whatever.
Yeah.
But the back will be, or the front will be bare again.
Well,
so that was one thing that was a little weird for me, and I think that it took away some of the beauty of Bacchus.
Yeah, those floats. There are several. I would say, like Orpheus, to me, it's not as bad as that. Some of those got split apart. Like Smoky Mary, they're their own individual cars. That one, it's okay by itself. Now it's much more spectacular together, but you don't really miss it that way. Like to see Bacchus's floats, though, like those really need to be together. And
yeah,
get the full grasp of it, And yeah, it's weird. I hope they fix that rule because,
yeah, and I think that they're gonna do something. One of the ideas that I saw, one of our followers, Sean Gotro, mentioned online, and he does a lot of like float design and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
He had recommended doing like that accordion stuff that you use, that you see on like some of these new tandem buses.
Yeah.
Using something like that and then being able to decorate it to where it would look like, like we were talking about, to where it would look like one solid float.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what happens with the recommended changes. Let's see. Monday we went to Red Beans, Dead Beans, and then Red Beans.
Yeah, he used to live back there. Hey, Captain
Faisal,
Guy.
which those were all, to see the costumes that they all wear that are beamed out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I took so many pictures and video and whatnot at that parade that that's one that I really look forward to being able to go back and look at.
Yeah.
And enjoy again. Additionally, that night we went to Proteus.
Yeah.
And then Orpheus.
Mm-hmm.
Rewind real quick. After Bacchus and Temple Day, we ran out to Metairie, and we caught the very end of Pandora and Nyx.
Oh, yeah.
Because the remaining floats from Nyx, they had, I don't know, like 7 or 8 of them that they were able to put together, because a lot of their membership is from out of town. So they already had gone back home. But they had like, 7 or 8 floats that they were able to put together with, Nyx riders, and they joined their sisterhood sisters in Pandora, and they rode out here in Metairie. We got to see the end of that. We were literally at the very end.
Yeah, we got
Um,
thrown out.
yeah,
You
yeah. The
can't be-
police. Yeah, we were actually in like the ending zone area,
Mhm.
and the cop was like, are you here with somebody? And we're like, yeah, the parade. We're watching the parade. Like, no, get the hell out of here. You got to go down there. We're like, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
we tried our best.
yeah. We had a good time at that little bit of the parade. We got there like for the last half, so it's not like we got to see the whole parade. I wish we would have been able to see it all, but
Yeah. No,
life is hard when you're moving all over.
Bach isn't exactly the easiest task in the world,
Yeah,
especially this year because we had with the new rules of parking a van and whatnot nearby, and
yeah.
made things especially difficult this year.
So back to Monday. So we went to Red Beans and Dead Beans and Fai Zhao. Any notable things that you want to say about those?
No, I mean I'm with you. The costumes I think are great. Like and of course Lucha Crew again.
Yeah, Lucha Crew leading Dead Beans. That's hilarious. Hilarious to me.
That story where basically they made their own route. 'Cause they
Yeah, listening to their story where they were like, we think they turned onto Bayou Road here. Let's try it and go.
like apparently they lost the cop or something that was leading the parade. And
Yeah.
they twist and turn all through those back neighborhoods, so that's kind of
Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, at one point where we caught it, it's literally a side street. I mean, it's like Bayou Road. Okay, yeah, is it a side street? Yeah, but it's a little bit bigger of a side street.
wide, like a 3-car wide side street or something.
Yeah, but I mean, where we caught the Red Beans and Fai Zhao part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a side street. I mean, we were
thin side street. Yeah,
yeah, it's a thin side street, and to see hundreds of people walking with the crew, it's intense.
I mean, because like Red Bean, from my understanding, only has like 50 members, but they had like hundreds of people that walk alongside of it, like just second lining, for lack of a better word for it. But yeah, it's like, damn, I know there's only like 50 people in this whole crew.
Yeah, I know you were saying that a friend of yours was telling you that she's one of the people in that crew.
Yeah,
and that I mean, they don't really get mad about it, but like, they get slightly offended by the fact that they're like, man, we pay a lot for dues to pay for the police support, and
you got to pay for parade licenses. They pay for the same parade license as the Super Crews pay.
Right.
They might pay less for police support, but the license is the same.
Yeah.
So the crews rely on membership to keep them going and really to have a cohesive theme of a group. And whenever something like that happens where, they thoroughly enjoy it, but they just much rather that they join the crew and help them all out. And they could just make it better. It just gets better with more people. So they do thoroughly enjoy like the second line though, for sure.
Yeah.
But
so we enjoyed those parades, and then we went and saw Proteus and Orpheus.
mm-hmm.
We just lucked out on the rain on that night.
Yeah, I'm not sure how.
Yeah,
it was gonna calm down, man, and it just came and went, and that was it.
I mean, again, the parade was beautiful. Both of the parades were beautiful. I mean, I mentioned that both of those are in my top 6 or 7, whatever, of most beautiful parades. It was, I mean, I had a good time at both of them.
I like Proteus. To me, it's one of those old school ones that is modernized somewhat, but they still have the old school feel to them. Like they haven't changed completely, and I think it suits them well. So that's one of the ones I really enjoy, especially the contrast between that and Orpheus, because Orpheus is a fully modern, decked out, overly decorated parade. I guess more reminiscent of like the really old parades. Honestly, the way they do all the flowering and all that was how they would decorate the floats in the early 1900s. Like that's a throwback to that.
Yeah.
Like all the leaves coming out and all the big flowers and all that's all the old school way, but it's clearly a modern interpretation of the old school.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any like super highlights from them other than saying, yeah, I mean, beautiful parades.
Well,
I enjoy. Oh wait, yes. Okay, yeah, you almost. I almost gave it away during Data. So, during Orpheus, they had the Madison Scouts alumni team, and they're marching past us. And I mean, if you know anything about the Madison Scouts, they're one of those drum and bugle corps to where, it almost feels like they train the people to, if the guy on the left farts, everybody down that line better be farting at that exact moment.
Oh, they're military type of precision as far as their musicianship. They really sound spectacular when they play.
Yeah, their musicianship, their on timeness, the whole 9 yards, to where they almost look like they are military.
Yeah.
And they're all marching, and a whole bunch of us got out, our cameras and cell phones and whatnot to take a picture of them, because it's astounding to see them marching with such precision and playing with, hoping to catch them playing with such precision and all that. And like a foot before they get to us, what happened?
Well, they start counting down. You can hear like the drum going, ding, 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 like start to make the timing to where like
they're about to play. Yeah,
here it comes, and hey,
yeah, they all like broke out of formation, and they all went to like run to the crowds and high five everybody, and like anyone who had a camera, they all got up in that person's camera lens and
Because when they get ready to play, I think most people know, and then it gets like eerily quiet, which is, I guess, any band, like, that drum lead in, so like, all right, shut up, the band's about to play. But particularly for them, people are just like, oh, we got to hear them play, like, yeah, they got us all, dirty suckers.
Yeah.
Fun to see that. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that.
No.
So we're getting to the last day here, Mardi Gras morning. So we woke up, went and had breakfast with your dad. Or actually, no, it wasn't with your dad. It was with a caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your dad was in a full caveman costume. And I remember it was a little chilly that morning too.
Yeah, he didn't care.
And we went and had breakfast at Waffle House, and then we went to Rex. We caught Rex right there by Baptist Hospital, and had a rock star parking spot. We're not going to tell our secrets. We found a rock star parking spot. Just understand.
Surprising. Parking spot.
Yeah, we had a blast at the parade. Got our Rex doubloons.
I love Rex. I mean, it's not the hugest parade in the world, but they're just so
It's so elaborate and beautiful.
Well. I mean, they just do it so well that everything is just right when they parade. And I don't know how they do it every year. Just pull off perfect parade every year because it's. I mean, they are the gold standard. Everybody you would ever talk to that knows Mardi Gras well would agree. They're the gold standard.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a blast at the parade, and then we came out here to Metairie.
Yeah.
And we caught Argus and the 2 truck parades. Argus, it seemed like, was a little bit nicer of a parade this year.
Yeah.
It seemed a little bit different than regular, than it has in the past few years. It seemed like there was something different with it, and I'm hoping that that's a good sign for them. I'm hoping that
it seemed like the numbers were up. The only thing that really kind of struck me as odd is how many Shahardis there were.
Yeah, there was
and maids and whatnot. There was 5 of them, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Shahardi, but I want to say there was 3 or 4 Shahardi maids. It's like, man, I'm hoping they're not having trouble getting these. Maybe they were just all of age this year. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just as odd. I was like, I hope they're not having trouble filling those spots. But
yeah, I think it was just that probably probably 3 of the daughters of longtime members hit that age, and they were like, hey, we want to be maids,
Yeah, they might have just all been at the age this year, but it struck me as odd. I was like, I hope they're not having trouble filling this. But then as the parade went on, the membership looked good. It was strong. I mean, the floats were all full and also.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any issue there. But,
one thing I will mention is that it seemed like the truck parades were very, very short.
Very short.
Like I'm used to, anytime that you hear someone talking about Mardi Gras, you hear like, oh, back when I was a kid, blah blah blah. Yes, I remember days where, you'd go to Mardi Gras Day, even out in Metairie or Uptown, and like the truck parades was like a 5-hour adventure.
Well, between 2 parades,
yeah. I mean, you'd have like 200 floats.
So it was like, oof, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Even with our marching bands, 100 floats are, parade is huge. And they just go on and on. Like, was it Elks or Jefferson that rides second?
I think it's Jeffersonians is second.
Yeah, that one seemed real short. I want to say 15, 20 floats.
Yeah, the combined of both of them seemed like it was only like 50 floats.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was that many, but yeah, it was. I was like, wait a minute, it's over already? Because usually by the time the last one rolls around, we kind of wait it out. We've done all Mardi Gras. And I'm like, kind of give the last one a last float.
Yeah.
But this year, it just kind of.
Yeah, the last float rolled, and I was like, wait, that was the last float? I was still counting my booty from Argus,
Yeah, like trying to make sense of their 20 different doubloons. But there was that one, and so it really threw me off. I thought that was just a break in the parade. And then it kind of got all the way around Bonneville, and I looked down, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote.
Here comes the cleanup crew,
Yeah. But all in all, I'd say that, despite the couple bumps in the road there, all in all, I thought, I had a great time during Mardi Gras.
Oh, plenty to love about Mardi Gras. So.
Obviously my heart and thoughts are with the folks who lost loved ones during the parade, and as we had said, seeing the situation that the world is in right now with the pandemic. That if I had a time machine, might I have delayed Mardi Gras? Probably, if I was the powers that be.
Yeah, hindsight always 2020 on that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nobody knew any better. I'm glad we got to have a good time, and I hope. I really don't think it's something that we're gonna have to regret long term. It seems like the thing's going down these days. So
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of changes to where the counts are going down, and you know, the all of the different experts and whatnot seem to be all saying the same thing, that they feel like we're starting to hit the peak, and we're on that decline back down to where it'll get back to some form of normalcy, whatever that may be.
So, but all in all, it's a great Mardi Gras, and
Yeah,
I can't wait till next year. I hope we do it.
yeah. I hope that we can.
Right decision and do what's best if they do it or not. But hopefully they'll just think about it, do the right decision, just not make a snap judgment about it. And I'm interested to see the fix for the tandem floats, because that needs to happen. Get those back in order.
Yeah, seeing that change would be is intriguing to me, and seeing whether or not the crowds or the parades take on a more network approach, as we were talking, or neighborhood approach.
I think even without, I think we're going to see smaller crowds next year. It just naturally will happen.
Yeah, I'd assume that there's going to be some people who got scared off, per se, by by this pandemic.
Yeah.
That there's going to be people who no longer want to associate in large crowds. And
ooh, look what I have.
Ooh. Well,
but at any rate,
yeah,
another wonderful year with you, buddy.
Indeed. Here's to many more.
Hell yeah.
So, everybody out there, thank you for listening. I know that this was a longer episode than we've ever done, but we've had a lot to talk about. We hope that everybody out there is staying safe. Stay home. If you don't need to be out there, stay home.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. Keep your social distancing up, and we'll get through this. And we look forward to seeing you out on the route. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Ooh, king cake.